Only thing with the White Sox, I say they've been coasting into the playoffs, and Tampa Bay's been having to win. It just depends on who gets hot.
The Philadelphia Eagles do have an opportunity.
To be honest, I thought you were going to say the Atlanta Falcons.
No, fuck no.
Oh god, yeah, that would have been warranted.
Paul George to show up again, and they need Reggie Jackson to be the best point guard left standing outside of Trae Young, who's hurt. What is going on, guys? My name is Kyle Davis. This is MV3. We're finally back, and I think we're going to get into a good rhythm of consistent episodes again. I'm finally moved into the house fully and got my setup back, and as always, I got Tbone here. How we doing today, man?
Oh, it's a good day. Good day. Less than a week out of the draft.
Oh, yeah.
Playoff basketball for the Bucks in an hour.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully we'll get it all done so you guys can go from us to watching the Bucks game. So we're probably going to run a good hour for us. But hey, like he said, the playoffs are starting. We have some pretty big surprises happening. Do you want to start with a glaring surprise?
Personally, it's not a surprise to me, but I think I know what you're talking about.
Okay. All right. So the would
this be the Brooklyn Nets being down 3-0 right now?
That would be exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep.
I don't see it as that big of a surprise either. I thought they would have grabbed a game by now, but
right.
The big thing that I see as a big surprise is if Ben Simmons was available for tomorrow's game, why wasn't he available last night?
Right.
Like, he's been rehabbing for so long, and now they're down 3-0. Like, nobody's ever come back from a 3-0 deficit. Granted, if a team can do it, it is Brooklyn, but God, KD has looked so bad in this series. He's been shut down by the length of Boston, and even if they somehow made it out of this round, it doesn't get easier for them, either of these teams. I think Milwaukee lines up well against Boston. I think that's going to be a juggernaut of a series, assuming that the Bucks make it past the Bulls, which I think they should handle their business if Friday's game was any indication of that. But I think I saw this coming with Boston. Like, I thought it was going to go 6 games, though. I didn't think they were going to come out and go 3-0 right now. But the length of Boston, the offensive prowess of Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford's been chiming in a lot, and now they get Robert Williams back. I think the pieces are definitely there to complete the sweep tomorrow for Boston. But the Ben Simmons effect, we have no idea what he's going to be. No idea. And I thought it was a funny statement I posted on my personal page yesterday. I was like, Ben Simmons can become the first player all time to be eliminated from the playoffs in back-to-back games.
Yep.
Because the last time he played was in the playoffs when he refused to take that layup.
Yep.
And I just thought it was a little funny thing. So do you think Boston's going to complete the sweep tomorrow, or do you think Brooklyn climbs back into this in any way, shape, or form?
I mean, I didn't watch a lot of Boston, admittedly, during the season. I knew they were good defensively, but they just I think the good thing is foreseeing like the next matchup, it's Milwaukee, right? You said it's going to be Milwaukee.
It would either be Milwaukee or Chicago.
It's Milwaukee. I think the Bucks are going to be able to look at that and see what they're doing, and it's going to be a battle of wits, essentially. Like, you can't put Marcus Smart on Giannis.
No. It's probably going to be either Al Horford or Jaylen Brown covering Giannis.
Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are the only two that could probably stick with him. Al Horford's too slow.
I mean, in the past, Al Horford in a past series he has, but Giannis is not the same player the last time he faced Al Horford with the Celtics.
Right. So you're thinking of a lineup of Horford, Brown, Tatum, Smart,
and probably still Robert Williams. So they're going to try and match big lineup with big lineup, and I think that favors Milwaukee by a mile. And it all depends on what happens with Middleton. And even when he comes back, I think they should stay with this big lineup, have Brooke at the 5, Bobby at the 4, Giannis at the 3, Middleton when he comes back at the 2, and then Drew Holiday at the 1. I think that's a death lineup because that is a tall, athletic, long.
Right. I don't think Middleton's back for this series at all, though.
Not for the Chicago series, but depending on.
No, it said 3 to 4 weeks, and that was maybe if the series goes 7, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's back for Boston. They're hoping they can get through Boston, which I think without Middleton it goes 7.
Agreed. They're
but
gonna
then
need
they
him.
hope
They're
to have
gonna
him
need him
finals.
for they're gonna need him for whoever they pull in the Eastern Conference Finals, though.
I don't know. I don't think either. I mean, I think it's either Boston or Milwaukee coming out. Like,
Oh, I agree with that, but a team that could give them problems is Philadelphia. But I still think, like I said back at the trade deadline, I said the Bucks, everybody else in the Eastern Conference won that James Harden Ben Simmons trade,
right?
Because I think Philadelphia, although is playing well, their offense is predicated off of free throws. Between Joel Embiid and James Harden, they average 30 free throws a game, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I'm really low on Philly. I mean, yeah, Joel Embiid's good. He's MVP candidate, but like
Cisco chiming in already. I'll get to everybody's, by the way. He says the Celtics are a faster team than the Bucks. I don't know about that. I think that they are definitely a younger team than the Bucks, which
faster
is something.
In what sense? Like,
I mean, it's going to be. I
don't.
Watch this series be like, we're going to see scores like from the 90s and the early 2000s. Like, we're going to see, like, if somebody hits 110, that's going to be incredible to me, because these are two very good defensive teams. Yeah. And the people it's a proven fact how you beat the Bucks. You have to have a hot night from the 3-point line. And that's why the Bucks are always in it, because when you have such length down low, you're those 3-point shots, and I was mentioning that at the beginning because I was watching the beginning of the Bulls game on Friday. That 3-point shot on that pick and pop was there all day for Vucevic and everybody else, but they were hitting it early. But that's what happens with this defense. If you can't get down low and get points in the paint, you're not going to be able to compete with this Milwaukee team unless you have like a historic night from 3-point line.
Right.
And I think as much people complain about Bud's system and like you're giving up the 3 ball, and I'm like, yeah, that's the whole point of this defense. That it's very hard to compete with a team that scores down low so well. You have so many shooters on the perimeter. With Bobby Portis playing very well at a very high level, Grayson Allen stepping into that starting role and playing very well. Hopefully, we still get that out of Grayson Allen over the next couple games, but. I think that Milwaukee and Boston is going to be the series of the entire playoffs, in my opinion. Probably
right behind, depending on who's in the finals, but yeah.
Faster as in fast break points. Bucks are more of a set it up perimeter team outside of Giannis. I disagree with that very much. They run a pick and roll. They run that free throw line pick and roll a lot, where it gets you a mid range shot, especially with Chris Middleton. He's like,
I don't know what they're gonna do with that, because now teams can just run drop coverage, and if they drop, then so basically that means the guys are just dropping back and they're leaving the middle wide open. Like before, teams couldn't do that because Chris Middleton was deadly, just like DeMar DeRozan was in Game 3. 2, whatever. No, 2.
2 would have been
Game 2 when he just lit it up from mid range. That's what Middleton did, and so teams can just pack the lane against Giannis, because I mean, Drew Holiday's okay in mid range. He's not great. He's not an elite level mid range guy.
He's more of a get to the basket type of offensive player, because he wants to play most of his game on the defensive side.
Right. So I'm not 100% sure what to expect out of, but Boston's so athletic, so they might not have to like pack. I mean, they're going to pack the lane. They're very good defensive team.
Yeah.
I
think the big thing about that series, if that's the series that comes up, is they have to limit turnovers. The Bucks had in Game 2 against Chicago, there were so many pieces that like went Chicago's way, and they still almost lost that game. They had, the Bucks turned over the ball 17 times. DeRozan had to drop 41, I think, and the Bucks still only lost by 3 or 4. Like, they gave them their best effort, and the Bucks still almost won that game. That's what's incredible to me, and that's why I think this series. I said at the beginning of the series, Bucks in 5. I might give them one more, and for the culture, I might go Bucks in 6.
There you go.
And as it plays to the Boston-Brooklyn series, I think Brooklyn can take tomorrow's game. But again, it's a wild card of what you're going to get out of Ben Simmons. You have no idea what you're going to get out of him, Is he going to return to the defensive player of the year style player, or is he going to be a point guard first? Are we going to see jump shots from him? We have no idea what we're going to see out of Ben Simmons. So that is a big wild card, but I still think Boston is good enough that they can lock it down. And as long as KD doesn't get 40 or Kyrie doesn't drop 40, I see Boston taking care of business. But
yeah, I mean, even if Simmons comes back, I don't think it matters. The guy hasn't played in a year.
right.
Like, I mean, Blake Griffin hadn't played since March and came back. And like he played like
Cisco, we will get to that.
I think he played what 15 minutes or something. When I turned it in, he was really productive and he was only at 8 minutes and he looked gassed. Like, and that wasn't playing for almost 2 months. This guy hasn't played Simmons hasn't played in 12 months.
Yep. Almost to the day too.
Right. I don't think he's going to be a factor at all. Like, I also just have the bias that I don't think he's a good basketball player. So
I don't think when he came out of the draft, I had very high hopes for him. He looked, and this is a very bad comparison, and I know you're going to roast me for it, but he had very much comparisons to like a Magic Johnson. He had the length, he had the passing ability, and he could play defense very well. I'm not saying he's Magic Johnson or was ever going to be Magic Johnson, but I'm saying that's the best comparison to style of play. He doesn't really shoot, just like Magic didn't really pull jump shots very often. Like, he had that style, and it was so entertaining to watch when he was at LSU when he wasn't hurt. It's the same thing with Michael Porter Jr. He could have had a great career, but he can never stay healthy.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't think Ben Simmons is ever going to be more than a role player. He's going to be a starter for the next couple of years, but people are going to learn very fast that is what he is. He's a very incredible defensive player, and that's all he's going to be. I don't think he's an offensive player anymore, or I mean, he could pass the ball pretty well, but if they get like close to a Drew Holiday style of points and defensive return on Ben Simmons, that would be like super high end of return for Ben Simmons, in my opinion.
That's fair.
But some of these other ones, we can go through these other this series, a couple of these series real quick. Also in the Eastern Conference, Philadelphia leads 3-1 over Toronto. I don't see Toronto making the comeback of being down 3-0 either, but I still think Toronto takes one more game. They're a young, fast team. Philadelphia's outside of Joel Embiid, they're an older team as well. I don't see Toronto coming back. Another series in the East is Miami versus Atlanta. It's 2-1 in Miami's favor. I think Atlanta can make a series of this, but I still think Miami will take care of business.
Yeah, I don't. Miami is just a deeper team, who they all have very versatile players. Like Tyler Herro is one of the best scorers off the bench, playing starter minutes. Duncan Robinson, probably one of the best shooters in the league. Lowry, Butler, PJ, and Bam can all play like and defend multiple positions.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're just if it's Miami and like say Milwaukee gets through Boston and it's Miami and Milwaukee, I think Miami probably is the best defensive matchup for either of them, because they have enough athleticism to match up against Boston or Milwaukee. But I don't care what the games are. I'm pretty sure Miami's going to just take it.
Yeah. I read a stat that said Miami is the first team all time to be the 1 seed and not have any player on their team in the top 25 of scoring.
Yeah, that's.
So, I mean, everybody's chipping in. Jimmy Butler has realized that he doesn't need to do it all. They have a really good team. They do. And they're deep. They have Kyle Lowry was arguably the best signing of the offseason, in my opinion, of the entire NBA. Granted, he's a little bit older, but he's a good glue guy. He can do everything that you want him to do on the offense and defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it adds a layer that Milwaukee didn't see in their series of, I think it was a sweep last year. On the way to the title. Yeah.
Against Miami?
Yeah. I think they swept
Milwaukee.
Yeah. So this is not the same Miami team. If Milwaukee gets all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals and faces Miami, I still would pick Milwaukee, but again, that would go 7. I think a lot of these series, and that's what you get out of Milwaukee. You get these you get a lot of these series that are, especially with Milwaukee, you'll never see a sweep outside of the first round against an 8th seed if Milwaukee's the 1 seed. Otherwise, Milwaukee is one of those feel out teams that are going to see what they're doing, see what they're handing you, and then attack the next game, especially with Bud. He doesn't adjust in game, he adjusts game to game. Right. And that's what everybody keeps freaking out about. But God, an Eastern Conference Finals with Miami and Milwaukee would be so sweet to see.
It would be fun. It would be fun for sure.
Either that or Philadelphia, which it seems like that's going to be the second round matchup. But
I don't know. Like I said, I don't think any of those teams are. It's Boston or Milwaukee coming out. I can't see anyone else.
I agree with that. And Cisco will love hearing that. Also, Violet, hello.
Hello.
So we'll quickly move through the Western Conference, and then I really want to get into NFL draft talk because there is a lot, because that is already coming up on Thursday. So let's see. Golden State's going to take care of business against Denver. If Denver was fully healthy with Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., I would have picked Denver, but
I don't think it matters.
Phoenix will eventually take care of New Orleans. What were you going to say about
about that fucking series? If the way that we've seen what is it, 2-1 right now?
2-1 in Phoenix's favor.
Yeah. If New Orleans has Zion, it's probably 2-1 in New Orleans' favor.
Agreed.
They won one, lost the other by 4, and lost the other by 11. Like, you're telling me Zion's not making up an 11 or 4-point difference in either of those games?
Well, it's not only that. You also have to remember that Devin Booker's not playing for this series now.
Devin Booker sucks. He played in the first 2 games. He's a little soft little pussy. Soft.
It's a Kentucky thing, isn't it?
Yes. He's a great scorer, but it's kind of like the KD thing. He's a great scorer, but unless he's got legitimate superstars around him, before Chris Paul got there, he sucked. The team sucked.
So, in your opinion, who's a deeper team with Devin Booker in the lineup, Phoenix or Miami?
Miami.
I agree. I think Phoenix has a really good team. I think Mikal
Phoenix
Bridges
would have the better offensive team.
Yep.
But Miami has the more versatile defense, and you need defense to win.
I think Phoenix has the best defensive player out of the entire team, but I think Miami is the better defensive team.
Who?
Mikal Bridges.
I don't know. Bam's pretty fucking good. He can guard 1 through 5.
That would be.
That's a good argument. I mean, it's a good argument. It's not when I'm like, oh my god, it's awful take. No, it's not.
It's not like a clear cut. Holy crap, Mikal Bridges is far and away. But in my opinion, I think he's better than anybody on the Heat.
Yeah, Bam and Mikal both were in the running for Defensive Player of the Year with Marcus Smart. So, I think those 3 and Rudy Gobert, as he always is, were like the top 4. So it's not crazy.
I do like looking at the NBA now and realizing that defense is really making a comeback now.
Yeah,
like good defensive players, they're really it's starting to breed a lot of good defensive players. It's not all just get out of the way and let them score.
Right, which makes sense because you had the game was going to evolve. You weren't just going to keep having this evolution of guards being absolute world beaters, being like Steph Curry's and Devin Booker's, and you were going to have this wave of guys who were going to be in the opposite. Like, no, I can shut them down.
And I think Milwaukee from the last couple of years is really starting to. I know we talk about Milwaukee a lot. We're from Milwaukee, so we're going to.
But they're also one of the best teams in the NBA. So
that's true. I think they started this trend of starting to move back to that defensive side of the ball. Do they put up points? Of course they do. They have really good scorers as well, but they have one of the best defensive teams as well. Brooke Lopez, Bobby Portis can play defense when he wants to. Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, and Giannis. That entire lineup is good defensively.
Right, like everyone. I mean, it's because of Giannis. Giannis took that mentality of I don't care if I score 40. If I score 20 and we win, I'm fine.
All he wants to do is win, and that is commendable.
And so he kind of took that defensive mindset and said, "This is what we need to do. I'm willing to sacrifice myself and become he didn't even sacrifice.
Last year he kind of did.
When he won, did he win Defensive Player of the Year?
Last year.
And he didn't win the MVP, right?
He won both. No, that wouldn't have been last year. That would have been 2 years ago. I think he won both. Right. He won both the same year, I think.
Which is
ridiculous. You only have 3 players on that list, and I think it's Michael Jordan, Hakeem Olajuwon,
Kareem
maybe. That's a hell of a. If that's the list, that's a hell of a list. Jesus, those are the best two-way players of all time.
Giannis, MJ, and Akeem. Not even.
It was only 3. Okay.
Yeah, he was the
Okay.
third.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's insane. Like, to hear about that is you are the best defensive player and you're the best valued player in the NBA that year. That is incredible.
Oh yeah, I mean he also is the Finals MVP, which he joins the two of them along with that.
So I mean, if you win MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, you're probably winning the title.
But didn't he do it? He did it.
He won MVP twice.
No, sorry. The thing that he did both of them was he did it in the same year.
That I don't think anybody did.
Well, right, because David Robinson won Defensive Player of the Year and MVP in different years.
Yep.
Same with Kevin Garnett.
Mm-hmm. That's a player that people don't put enough respect
in
on.
2020, yeah, in 2020, Giannis has won both awards in the same year. Yeah.
I'd like to take an episode one of these days and just talk about the history of the game.
Yeah.
I would have a blast.
Yeah, no,
doing
the
that.
MJ and Hakeem are the only other two to do it in the same season.
Yep.
But there's only 2 others who have both, and that's Robinson and Garnett.
Right.
So
and that's
5 total
rare.
players.
And people are saying that some of these other players in the league are going to be like the face of the league. No, this is Giannis's league.
People only say that because he's not in a big market.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think the NBA you have to be in a big market.
Not anymore.
Phoenix is a good sized market, but they're not Chicago, LA.
No.
Like Chicago has a big market, and their team up until this year had been pretty bad.
I think also that's why Ja Morant didn't get as much notice for MVP this year as he should have.
He should have gotten most improved, not MVP.
It's still to be seen who's going to get most improved. I think
it should be Ja.
I think it should be Ja, and I think it should be by a landslide. I think the other 2 players are DeJounte Murray and who's the other guy?
Oh, isn't the guy in Toronto?
Maybe.
No.
Well, it's Pascal Siakam and
not him.
Oh well, Cisco's chiming in there. Oh yeah, Cisco chimed in and was helping us out. And then Giannis and Tatum's league. I agree with the Tatum thing. I really think Tatum could be the face of the league soon, but I don't think he's going to overtake Giannis. I think they're too close not too close in age. What is Giannis, 27? And Tatum's only 22.
He was 18 in 2013 when he got drafted.
Yeah, that would be around
9 years
27.
later. Yeah, 27.
Yeah. I think Tatum has an opportunity to compete with Giannis. So I think that's what he is also saying. I think he's saying this is going to be a tandem. I think the NBA is in an incredible spot with all this young talent that is in the NBA right now with Luka Doncic, Ja Morant, Giannis. Like all of these players are just continuing to get better. And I think the league is in very good hands right now.
Yeah.
You were going to say, I cut you off earlier. You were going to say something about the Golden State Denver series?
Oh, we're seeing the emergence of a superstar in Jordan Poole. Like,
isn't he also from Milwaukee?
He is. He went to a Milwaukee school, and then he went to IMG for his final year, at least final year, if not 2 years of high school, and then he went to Michigan.
There was also he had an interview at some point that, and his father was around or something, that he would this free agency. I don't think Golden State's going to be able to retain him just because the money's not going to work with Clay and Steph making so much money. Yeah. And he was talking about like teams that he wants to play for, and he put Milwaukee right at the top of that list.
Yes,
I understand.
Oh boy, that would be. I mean, I don't know if they can make it work.
The money would not make sense. You'd have to get rid of some big pieces there. Like Brooke would have to go. I think Bobby would have to go.
But I think Bobby's already under contract next year.
That's true.
Because he signed 2 year for 9, I believe.
Because they have so much money.
I guess it could be an option. I don't know if it's an option or not.
I'm not sure either because the money is obviously you're paying Giannis 40 plus. You're paying Middleton 30 plus now.
Okay, here you go. I'll ask you. I'll propose to you this, and then I want to like run down like our top our award winners before we go over to the draft. So, if the Bucks could pull a sign and trade, you sign Poole and trade Middleton to the Warriors. Do you do that? You send Middleton's contract away. You sign Poole to.
How old's Middleton?
I believe didn't they come in the same? He's probably 29.
30. He's 30.
30? I was like, yeah.
He's 30. He's the same age as me. Only like Jordan Poole's only like what, 22, 23?
He's young. He's very young.
I'd pull the trigger on that.
Taking that risk.
Well, Middleton's I think Middleton's at that age where he's gonna start to decline soon.
Right.
And I mean,
that's my point. Do you take? I mean, Jordan Poole has been phenomenal this year, no doubt. But it's been 1 year.
I think that's also a testament to the team. I think it's a testament to having Klay Thompson and Steph Curry on that team, and Andrew Wiggins, for argument's sake, I guess.
Oh, yeah, but he wasn't really playing with Klay up until recently because Klay was hurt. He was filling Klay Thompson's role.
Yes,
and he was
still
dropping.
A damn good job.
Right. So if you're the Bucks, I think if you make that deal, you extend. I mean, having Giannis, you're going to be in the conversation for top 4 teams in the East. You are. No matter who you put around him, he's like the LeBron. You have him on your team. You're going to make the playoffs. You're going to make the Eastern Conference Finals. You're probably going to have a shot at the championship. He's that kind of player, right?
Every year.
Right. So, granted, him and Giannis have been together. They're the only 2 left, or from 2014, 2013. They were both at the end of the bench when that happened, right? Middleton got traded to them.
Yes, because I think the last player that was with, he had to come back, and that was Ersan.
Right. But so these are the 2 longest reigning Bucks, or tenured Bucks. They're friends. I know they're good friends. But as much as people,
I don't think I would make the trade. I don't think the Bucks would make the trade, if that makes sense. I think a lot of people, like, let's say it was the Lakers. Let's say the Lakers had what the Bucks have in our team. And let's say they looked at this and they were like, all right, well, should we make this trade? The Lakers would make that trade. Yeah. Brooklyn would make that trade. Philadelphia would make that trade. A lot of teams. I don't think Milwaukee, because Milwaukee doesn't make those blockbuster trades.
No,
the biggest trade they've made in the last 10 years was Drew Holiday.
Well, it wasn't really a trade either.
No, it was.
It was, but it was like
it was more picks. It was more picks than anything.
But he didn't come in like mid-season.
No, that was during the offseason 2 years ago.
So that's what I'm saying. So it's not like it was a mid-season. We're trying to really ramp up. Like it was.
You're talking about this being a deadline trade.
Well, like no. I'm just saying, like, Drew Holiday's wasn't a deadline trade. It was in the offseason. It wasn't like a snap decision. That was the difference that I would say. Anyway, I was just curious because Jordan Poole looks like he's going to be a legitimate player for a while.
100. Moving on to 2 interesting series. Do you want to start with Dallas, Utah, or Memphis, Minnesota? I have no interest in the Dallas Utah series. I don't think it's.
I want to see Luka keep playing because
I do too.
He's entertaining. I hope Dallas wins, and then Minnesota. I couldn't care less. I think Ja's more exciting. So
you're just mad because I was right.
No, I'm not mad about that.
You're mad because I was right in my.
I also think I think Karl Anthony Towns is the most overrated player in the NBA.
That's fine. He's not the only player on the team. They have Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell, Pat Bev. They have a good team.
I know who's on the team. Okay,
you sure?
I'm just saying. Karl Anthony Towns is dog shit.
You guys fucking roasted me when I made that prediction last year.
They snuck in the play-in game. Relax. They hardly made it. Hardly.
What?
Let's not act like they really. No, the new thing is to make the playoffs, you got to be in the top 6. If you're not a top 6, you're just bullshitting.
They were 7 in the old style. They'd still be the 7 seed.
It's not top 6. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh my god!
If you're playing in the
they're taking
game,
the number 2 seed. They're taking the number 2 seed to the limit.
Whatever. They're young.
Yeah. So is Memphis. They don't belong there.
No, they both do. But
I think Minnesota. I think also if Minnesota or Memphis makes it through here, I think they give Golden State a run. But I think Golden State's going to be in the Western Conference Finals. I don't think
no one wants to see that. No one wants to see that shit.
No, I don't like. What's weird is I don't like any of these teams in the West. Like I like Dallas, but Dallas isn't deep enough. New Orleans will be in the next couple of years be good, and I don't want to see Phoenix again. We saw Phoenix last year.
Oh, Scotty Barnes won the Rookie of the Year.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Over Evan
Evan
Mobley. I
Mobley.
thought Evan Mobley deserved it more, but good
Mm.
for Scotty Barnes. I liked him coming out of the draft too. But do you want to go through awards? Whatever's
Yeah.
left, which would be Coach of the Year, MVP.
I mean, Coach of the Year's got to be
Marcus. Because Defensive Player of the Year went to Marcus.
Yeah, Rookie of the Year went. Obviously, we just said it. MVP. I don't know who's going to win MVP. Probably Jokic or Embiid. I don't think they give it to Giannis.
All right, let me. I'm bringing it up right now. So we have still to give away MVP, Sixth Man of the Year, Most Improved, and Coach of the Year. That is what is left.
Sixth man is Tyler Herro, and it's not even a competition.
Kevin Love played well, but he's not going to get it. Cam Johnson, I don't even know what his numbers were. Tyler Herro was averaging like 18,
20.
19 points off the bench, 20 off the bench.
I think it was 20.
Your DPOI was Rudy Gobert and Mikal Bridges for your other two. Most Improved, Darius Garland. Darius Garland was your other guy.
Okay, yeah.
And I think all three of those players are much better than they were last year. But I think Ja Morant, he took a step that people very rarely take. He was great last year. He's in superstardom now. This is Ja Morant's title. Also, Coach of the Year, you have Taylor Jenkins of the Grizzlies, Eric Spoelstra of the Heat, and Monty Williams of that's not Phoenix, is it?
Phoenix. It's got to be Monty.
No.
Yeah. What?
It's got to be Taylor Jenkins because they took a team that missed the playoffs last year, and now they're the number 2 seed. Granted, they're not doing much in the playoffs, but that's still impressive.
No, it's Monty.
I'll take Spoel over.
I'll take Spoel
over. Whatever. MVP, your candidates are Giannis, Joel Embiid, and Jokic. This is Jokic's title.
Yeah, I mean, they're not doing shit right now, but it's kind of a moot point.
I mean, it's a regular season award. People need to remember that. Everybody was freaking out about, Joel Embiid's playing very well in the playoffs. I was like, I don't give a shit. It's a regular season award. The award's already decided. They just haven't announced it yet.
Yeah. Also, Hero did average 20 a game this year. That's 25 and 4 off the bench.
That's damn impressive.
Granted, they need to fix that award because he played like a starter.
He played starter minutes too. He didn't always come off the bench either.
Right. You need they need to put some stipulations like you're playing under X amount of minutes. Pretty much that you got to put because I think right now you can't start a certain percentage of the amount of games, otherwise you're disqualified.
Right, exactly.
But
it's the same thing with the scoring. I think it's the same thing with the scoring title.
That's also weird. It should be whoever had the most total points in the season, not who averaged the most points per game.
Right. That's because it's a very skewed thing. Because if it was according to that, it would be Trae Young.
Right.
Trae Young scored the most points in the NBA this year.
So he should win the scoring title. It's like
I'm not disagreeing with you, T-Bone.
It's weird. I'm just saying shit's weird.
How about we talk some NFL draft?
Bring it.
All right. Who do you think should, not will, but should go number 1 overall to the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Well, you already know that, but
you're going to say Aiden Hutchinson, aren't you?
Yeah, but I don't want him to. Okay.
Yeah.
I want him to go to Detroit. I want him to go home, stay in Michigan, get the fuck out of Jacksonville because nothing good happens there. They're still tainted by Urban Meyer.
I'm using CBS mock drafts.
Yep.
CBS Sports mock drafts. Only 1 out of 6 experts has Aiden Hutchinson going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Everybody else has them taking Aiden Hutchinson, number 2, to the Detroit Lions.
That's fine.
I agree with that 100%.
Who do they have going number 1? Walker?
They have an offensive lineman whose name I cannot pronounce. I have an offensive lineman from a few of them. Ikem Nkanwu out of NC State, and I see a lot of Trayvon Walker, the defensive lineman out of Georgia. Yeah. Georgia's going to have a lot of representation in this draft. That defense was filthy last year. Jordan Davis, I'm seeing here. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, I really want Aiden to go to Detroit. That just sounds better.
It does sound better. I agree 100%.
I don't think it matters who goes third. It's probably either if Walker doesn't go 1, he probably goes. It's either him or Thibodeau at 3.
So I see a shuffle of 5 players in the top 5. I see that offensive lineman I was talking about: Aiden Hutchinson, Trayvon Walker, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Evan Neal. Evan Neal got as high as number 1 for a while on a bunch of boards, but I don't think you can go wrong. There's no, and it's very good to see. I love seeing that there's no quarterback sitting towards the top 10 anywhere near.
I mean, Kenny Pickett. I got hit. Some people have him in the top 10. Malik Willis is in some, but they're like 8, 9, or 10.
It depends. Cisco's asking about Jordan Davis. I think he needs to go to a team that is very weak on the defensive line. Granted, I don't think he's not really towards the top end of this because there's so many dominant players on the edge rushers.
Yeah.
And he's an interior defensive lineman. I think he wasn't even the best defensive lineman on his team last year. I think Trayvon Walker was better. But Jordan Davis got a lot of the spotlight because he got more tackles and sacks. I think Trayvon Walker is a more versatile player than Jordan Davis, in my opinion.
Yeah, I also don't like the disrespect they're doing to Kyle Hamilton. That guy is probably the best safety prospect we've seen in the last 10 years.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And I don't know why he's like being disrespected. I don't think the Jets could take him, but we've seen how star safeties fare with the Jets. So Jamal Adams 2.0.
Let me try and say this correctly. Kyle Hamilton, the Jets need a lot on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah,
if
they can't go wrong. They can't go wrong with.
I think if Kayvon Thibodeau is sitting there at 4, you take him.
Possibly.
But if he's not, Kyle Hamilton is going to be a hell of a consolation prize. And that's my opinion on it. I'm sticking to it. Some of these draft boards, the first quarterback, the earliest I see a quarterback coming off is number 6, and that's Kenny Pickett out of Pittsburgh going to Carolina. Now, there are a few teams that are in this top 5 that need a quarterback, depending on what your view of the Giants are. They are in the market for a quarterback. Jacksonville's not. Detroit, you never know. I think Detroit takes a quarterback with either their second pick or their third pick, because I don't think Jared Goff is their answer.
Their second pick is what? At the end of the... Yeah, I mean...
Their second pick is the final of the first round.
I mean, all these mock drafts have them taking a quarterback in the at 32. One has it being Kenny Pickett, another has Sam Howell, one has Ritter, and then another one has Ritter.
Ritter as well, yeah. We are looking at the same one, it looks like.
Yeah, where the fuck is Matt Corral supposed to go?
Second round.
Oh.
I don't see it. I see him to the Saints on one of these.
I think he's the best quarterback in the draft.
I think he's got the best arm. I definitely think he's got the best arm talent. I think his mental is going to take some time to adjust. I think
he's an interesting guy. He's a character.
He is.
So
who do you think is the best quarterback coming out of this draft, though? Is it Matt Corral, or do you have Pickett, Howell, Malik Willis? Because a lot of people have been very high on Malik Willis out of Liberty.
I think Malik Willis is the best person out of all of them.
Whoa! What did you just say, Cisco?
What did he say?
Chris Olave to the Eagles?
Fuck out of here! No one wants to see that.
I don't want to see. I don't want them drafting a wide receiver.
I don't want to see him get drafted.
Okay, that's rude.
He's not good.
I don't want.
I've said that. I've said that for years. Chris Olave is overrated as shit.
I'm looking at a couple of these. The Packers have him on their board.
He's the best wide receiver in college. He wasn't even the best fucking wide receiver on his team.
What the hell was that other guy's name? Cisco, what was it? The Garrett Wilson, and what's the other kid who's got 2 last names? Or hyphenated last name. Cisco, help me out. I know he'll chime in a second. I can kind of think of the name, but I think he was the best. I think Garrett Wilson's also going to be... Garrett Wilson is better.
Yeah,
Garrett Wilson is better. I agree. But if you start talking Ohio State, Cisco's not going to stop.
That's fine. What is he going to talk about? He got his ass kicked. It doesn't matter.
Jesus.
Let me see how many Ohio State guys that are in the top 10.
There we go.
Oh,
Smith
0.
and Jigba. That was the guy I was thinking.
I have 0.
Ohio
Maybe
State.
Garrett Wilson. Oh, none of
Garrett
Wilson 1 or 2 though.
Garrett Wilson's slated to be the first wide receiver off the board in almost all of these.
Okay, my guy's slotted to be number 1 or number 2 off the board in total.
You're really making this a team thing? Can we not make this about the player? Garrett Wilson is slated to either go to the Falcons or the Giants, which that would make no fucking sense for the Giants to grab another wide receiver. No. You have Kenny Galladay. What do you all have? You have so many wide receivers. Kadarius Toney, Kenny Galladay.
Darius Slayton, Kenny Galladay, and there's another one that I'm missing.
They don't have that tight end anymore, though.
No, he's in Jacksonville.
Jacksonville made a hell of a push this offseason, by the way. Also, I know we'll come back to the draft in a second, but who is, because we haven't talked since free agency happened, who is your best signing in the offseason for free agency in the NFL?
The best what?
Signing or
free
trade?
Agency?
Yeah, free agency or trade, because there was a lot of trades that happened as well.
Probably Devontae to the Raiders, because he is the number one at his position. Yeah. So a team acquiring the number one player at any position, you got to think that would be the biggest one. So I'm gonna go Devontae to the Raiders.
So I also agree that Devontae to the Raiders is one of the biggest, but you're going to start seeing some teams that are going to start competing very fast. I think Miami got a lot better this offseason, especially their number one signing, which was Armstead, the tackle from New Orleans. Von Miller, I think the Bills fucked up. I think the Bills fucked up paying him as much money as they did. I'm not saying they fucked up for getting Von Miller, but for the money and the longevity of the terms. I don't know how old he is off the top of my head, but he signed a 6-year contract and he's averaging 20 mil a year.
Yeah, but you didn't pay him to be that as productive for the last 4 years of the contract. He's going to set a tone, and if he's there all 6 years, he's going to be an anchor on the defense. He's going to be a veteran leader. They have a lot of young guys on that defense. With a Tre'Davious White.
Tre'Davious White. Are you talking about the corner?
Him, and then the linebacker
Poyer. They have a lot of good players.
I'm talking their linebacker, their young linebacker.
Oh,
God.
Shit. That's gonna bother me. Hold on. You and I are doing the same thing right now, aren't we?
Yep.
Roster. Should have went to depth chart. Let's try this again. This awkward silence.
Tremaine Edmonds. That's who it is.
Oh, here we go. I'm not even going to read it. You can read it.
Your spot in the text. Hey, buddy. I'm sorry. Did you make the Big Ten championship? No. Did you make the cup? No, didn't make that either. What did you play? You played a game against Utah. Congratulations.
That was a hell of a game. Shut your mouth. That was a very entertaining game.
Okay, cool. The Tax Slayer Bowl can be entertaining.
Any of these bowls can be entertaining.
Congratulations. Were you in the college national playoff? No, you weren't.
Well, you weren't in the championship though.
Next. You didn't make your league's championship game, so don't need to hear anything from that.
I want your opinion on this signing. Allen Robinson going to the Rams. I want to change the subject because otherwise we're going to fucking spend way too much time on that shit. Allen Robinson to the Rams. Do you think that's a needle mover, or do you think that's just them replacing OBJ and Robert Woods?
It's a temporary filler for Robert Woods
because OBJ's not on a team yet.
No, because he's not. He probably can't even work out. Teams don't know what the fuck his knee's gonna do. I wouldn't surprise me if OBJ is not signed until like the season.
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get signed until like week 3 of the season because we have no idea when he's even going to come back.
Right.
Also, I think another big move for the Rams, especially Bobby Wagner. They got linebacker help.
How much money do they fucking have?
All of the money. Well, they're not paying OBJ or Von Miller anymore, and that was a decent chunk of change. Yeah. They're not paying Robert Woods. They're not paying.
Why are they not paying Robert Woods?
Because Robert Woods got traded. Robert Woods, I think, is on the Titans now. I want to say
they did get rid of that. Yeah, they did. I forgot about that trade. They did get rid of him.
Yep.
Okay. So that's right. That's why because Allen Robinson is a temporary stopgap for filling Robert Woods' role, but I don't think he's a long-term solution. That was the point I was going to get at.
You know who would be interesting to go to the Packers? and I don't know if they would ever pull the trigger on this, is Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger.
I mean,
they have Amos in the back on safety, but I think if you sign Tyrann Mathieu, that is one of a filthy defense. But I think they more so need linebacker help than safety help.
Well, I
they
saw
got
another
Campbell,
mock draft. There's a mock draft that has Green Bay taking wide receiver at 22, and then at 28 taking Nakobe Dean from Georgia.
I like
that. I would like that.
That would be nice.
I would like that.
It'll be interesting to see what all of these teams do with trades, because I've heard the Packers swirled around with grabbing somebody a little bit higher in the draft, like middle of the draft. I don't know what.
If they want to hop up to like mid first, like 12 to 17, and grab like my boy Daxton Hill, I'm okay with that.
That would be the Packers are set very well for this offseason, and I think
relax. They might take fucking Matt Corral. Okay, no one fucking knows.
Yeah, that's always true. You never know what the fucking Packers are going to do.
Can they get anything for Jordan Love?
They could probably get a third now.
Give me it.
1/3. I would say 1/3.
I'll take an 8th round pick. Fuck it.
What are we back in the 80s?
I'm just saying, like
15 rounds.
They have a good third string quarterback. Shout out KB.
All right, Cisco.
Okay, Cisco. So your team loses the guy who eats frozen
waffles. What are you doing?
What are you talking about, bro? Like I don't. If that's weird? Funny. If that's weird, maybe Ohio State should do it because you guys lost. I don't know. You guys all like wanted to like fire your entire staff for losing a single game. Get used to it, fuckers.
Are you done?
Not unless he brings it up again.
He's going to. That's what he does.
Whose fault is that?
I'm going to stop talking about it.
Yeah.
If he keeps saying stuff about it, I'm just going to move on from it.
That's fine.
I also think the best corner in the league in the draft this offseason is going to be Stingley out of LSU.
I don't know enough about the corners. I know some about the safeties. I know how good Daxton Hill is. I know how good Kyle Hamilton is.
Both very good players.
Yes.
I think
I don't know about the corners like we did last year.
So a lot of these, I'll just go off on a tangent then for a second. Ahmed Gardner is the number 1 ranked. He's out of Cincinnati, a junior out of Cincinnati. They have him ranked.
Is that the guy that like gave up like 0?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. I'm familiar with who he is.
Yep. He's more of a zone / he doesn't really play man as much. He's more of like Josh Norman was back in the day. Derek Stingley's more of a man to man, up in your face. He's going to be physical with you. I think he's going to be the more effective corner. Will Gardner be good in the league? Yes, of course he is. But with the numbers he put up in college, it's hard to see him not do well. But I personally think that the best corner coming out of this draft is Derek Stingley out of LSU. And a lot of people currently have him going middle of the first round, either to the Vikings or the what the hell is their new name? Commanders?
Yeah.
Washington? They're the Commanders? I don't want to say the wrong thing.
They're the Redskins.
Canceled. You have been taken off the air.
I'm sorry, that's such a bad name.
The Commanders?
It's such a bad name. Did
you see in baseball? I know we don't follow baseball that much, and I personally don't talk about baseball that much. Did you see the Yankees fans throwing garbage at that Yankees player?
It was hilarious.
Or at the Guardians player?
It's just Yankee fans proving that they're trash.
Because they are trash. That's what they are.
Like, here's the thing, right? You have Cubs and Brewers fans, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you have Boston and Red Sox fans, or Red Sox and Yankee fans.
Boston and Red Sox fans.
Like, I would say, and now this is coming from a Cubs fan, like in like if you don't have a rooting interest, say you're from California and you hear about, say this happens, Brewers and Cubs. Yeah. People are probably going to take the Brewers side because the Brewers are the fun team to get behind, even though they fucking suck. Right? Like, same with like Duke.
Don't ask for approval on that. I'm not fucking doing that.
But like, think like Duke, North Carolina. People are probably going to tend toward North Carolina. They're not the private white school kids, whatever.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
How have we gone almost 50 minutes into this podcast and you have not mentioned anything about yesterday's Cubs-Pirates game?
Because, bro, we're better than the Chicago Cubs score more than the Chicago Bears can. So,
I mean, that's
someone. Oh my God,
you're so backwards being a Cubs fan and a Packers fan. That hurts my brain.
The Cubs tweeted out. They're like, "Oh, sometimes we like to pretend we're Chicago Bears. I'm like, why? You're not the ones who got shut out. Like, it's dumb because they support the Bears, and I just want to flame them because, oh, we put up the Chicago Bears score. No, you didn't. Bears don't score 21 points. That's a lie.
I think it was 23.
It was 21-0.
Oh, was it 21? I thought it was 23.
Yeah. Okay. But
also,
back
the
to my
Bears,
point.
the Bears definitely don't allow 0 points. Continue.
Yeah. So my point is, with these like well-known rivalries, if you don't have a rooting interest, you usually were like, oh, I'm gonna pick this side. Like I said, people are gonna pick North Carolina over Duke because North Carolina is the private school. They don't, or the public school. They don't like the private school kids. I would assume people would rather be on the Brewer side than the Cubs side because it's the Cubs and we're a big market, whatever.
Mhm.
When it comes to Yankees and Red Sox, I would much rather I will root for Boston just for the hell of it because I think New York sucks in general. So I feel like the general consensus is this is just the Yankees being dog shit Yankee fans.
Mhm.
Like, they walk off the game and they're going to throw shit at the right fielder.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It makes no sense.
Also, the other thing that's kind of controversial, and I keep mentioning it in our podcast chat group, is what the hell is going on in Minnesota and Memphis? That they have somebody like diving onto the court or chaining themselves to the court or gluing their hands to the. What the hell is going on in there?
Minnesota.
Did you see that one from last night?
Reason. Yeah, that shit was. She got laid out.
She got laid the fuck out. And I saw a meme that said it showed the video of it happening. That security guard has 99 awareness on Madden because the security guard was out there as soon as she hit the court. It was incredible to watch. And I couldn't help, like, I was watching that game and I watched the play, and all of a sudden, like, I stopped even knowing that basketball was happening for a second there.
Yeah. So it's an animal rights activist. Let's see.
Do they not like that their team names are animals?
No. I think I this could be wrong, but I think I actually know this. The owner. Let's see. What is he? Okay, maybe it's not. I thought it had something to do with the owners of both teams being involved with, like, say, I don't know what company, but like they were, say they're part of Kraft and they treat animals poorly or something like that. Like,
Sure.
I thought they were big owners in like big food companies or big produce or something like that, and like they're protesting the treatment, how those owners' businesses treat animals. I thought that's what it was. Maybe I'm thinking of a different situation.
Maybe, but hey, we're about 7 minutes out for tip off of the Bucks Bulls game. Do you got anything else to say? Anything else to get off your chest?
Fuck North Carolina. We're still on that one.
All right, I got one final question for you. Who is going to be in the finals this year for the NBA?
Memphis and Milwaukee.
Memphis.
I like Memphis. I like Desmond Bain. That guy is absolutely yoked and and looks like a fucking robot trying to shoot threes. But he's a great 3-point shooter.
I like the Memphis take. I do like the Memphis take. I unfortunately, it's going to be I think it's good. We're going to see the same finals matchup.
And we're going to see the same Bucks and 6, and it's going to be just as great all over again. I can talk shit to my Phoenix friends.
I'm ready for it. I'm here.
Yeah, I would love to see a finals between John Morant and Giannis. That'd be fucking electric.
That would be super fun, super athletic. But hey, guys, definitely stay tuned. We're going to be doing some big things for the podcast. I've already been talking to a few bars for some on location stuff. We have an
streams.
Because apparently all of us were drunk last night outside.
That's why it's only the two of us. Well, I was day drinking, so
I surprisingly did not drink last night because I was busy as hell. But we're going to be talking. We're talking to people at a bar we've already recorded at. We're talking to a representative from a bar. Like, we have a lot of big plans, a lot of Brewer stuff going on. We're going to get a baseball episode out here soon.
Imagine we did like a live stream from a tailgate at Miller Park.
That's one of the plans.
I mean, I don't know how that would work because I would be decked out in Cubs gear. So
you can be decked out in Cubs gear. I think it would be more so like an audio recording, though.
That's
unfortunately,
I think we could try to live stream it and just say fuck it.
We can make it work.
I don't know if we could. We would try.
But guys, for MV3, I'm Kyle Davis. We didn't do a random question, by the way. I'm very mad at us. For MV3, I'm Kyle Davis. That's Tbone. Guys, enjoy the Bucks Bulls game and a slate of NBA playoffs. And as always, Bucks in
5.
Bucks in 5. I like it. I like it. We'll talk to you soon. Enjoy the Bucks game. Later, guys.
Later, boys.
The only thing with the White Sox, I say they've been coasting into the playoffs, and Tampa Bay's been having to win. It just depends on who gets hot.
The Philadelphia Eagles do have an opportunity.
To be honest, I thought you were going to say the Atlanta Falcons.
No, fuck no.
Oh god, yeah, that would have been that would have been warranted.
Paul George to show up again, and they need Reggie Jackson to be the best point guard left standing outside of Trae Young, who's hurt.